Let's cross now to SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo, who gave us a sense of what is happening then, when we can expect former President Thabo Mbeki to have his say today.
Well, that's right, Sebenzile. We're coming to live here from Killarney Country Club. As you know, that this is a very important voting station. So many leaders, post-apartheid leaders of South Africa, they've used this particular facility to vote. So we're waiting with bated breath for former President Mbeki to arrive any minute here. But to reflect really on the significance of this particular area, we're joined by SABC's international editor, Sophie Mukwena. We're just talking, Sophie, off air about the importance of this area. I mean, the significance. You had Madiba here in 2009. Nostalgic moments. Take us through what's going through your mind as we're standing here for former President Mbeki.
Quite an important area. Across the road, you had Nelson Mandela. This side where we are, it was Thabo Mbeki. Not far from here, Forest Town, it was Jacob Zuma. So these leaders were around here, and of course on voting day it will be a hive of activity in terms of traffic. And this voting station in particular, the last time Madiba participated on the national elections, it was in 2009, and he was here. The coincidence in relation to international perspective is that it was on the very same year where in Palestine many Palestinians were killed, more than 1,000, and on that day he was accompanied by his daughter Zinzi, who has since passed on, and the current deputy president of the Republic, Paul Mashatile. And we were able to ask Madiba about the situation in Palestine. A coincidence, we are back here at a time where in Gaza there are issues there. The war is continuing, and therefore for me this voting station is very, very important from that perspective. And you saw earlier on the former deputy president of the Republic, Khayelihle, came here to vote, and we will be moving to another important one where Meso Brain will also be voting. And therefore you can see the history of South Africa coming full circle, because Mbeki used to vote near his house in Killarney, but I'm told that due to the new demarcation and changes, he is now using Nelson Mandela's polling station.
And once again, Sophie, you're talking on a very big issue, you know, the issue of the Palestine question. It's been such a massive issue at the campaign trail, the political parties using it, and it's quite important that this election, once again, we've had so many leaders really. You have those who are pro the issue and those obviously who are calling for a two-state solution. Maybe just reflecting on this issue as a very key indicator for these polls.
These elections, for the first time, the international perspective is likely going to play itself because of the Palestine question. You know that there are many people and organizations in South Africa who are supporting the Palestine struggle, and therefore in provinces such as the Western Cape, where you have those who are supporting Palestine in large numbers, in KwaZulu-Natal and here in Gauteng, it will be interesting to see particularly the areas where you have a number of people supporting Palestine, perhaps converging, so that you can see the influence. And I think much as it will not be millions of votes, but certainly even one vote is very, very important.
And as we're still keenly waiting for former President Mbeki, I mean, obviously had to cut off his campaign due to the ill health. Even here, his staff, you know, they caution us to be quite careful around, you know, his presence.
Yes, as he pointed out when he sent that message to the ANC rally, but also you'd recall during the Thabo Mbeki lecture that he couldn't attend. He did indicate that he was hospitalized and therefore he couldn't attend. I spoke to his office. They told us they didn't want to make an announcement because they didn't want his problem to almost become a big story when the nation is focused on elections. Now he's coming here earlier on, another request that please, this time around, go slow on doorstop because he's still recovering. He might be able to make few comments, but take that into consideration. And I think that is why when people were saying he has abandoned the campaign, there were talks that it's because he was not happy, but the office was very clear that no, but they wouldn't give reasons. And only when he released that message to ANC supporters at FNB and during the lecture that he did divulge the fact that he was at the hospital.
All right. Well, Sebenzile, of course, that's SABC's international editor, Sophie Mukwana. So with that, back to you in studio.